Hi, good evening. Welcome to Not a Barmy Army podcast. Hope you missed us. Maybe not. This evening I'm joined by Nat. Nat, how you doing? It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just excited. Can't wait to see what the future holds.
And the point of tonight really is to say hello to everybody, to catch up, but also just to listen to some of those concerns people might have. And just to talk about what we're hoping for the next season, really, because we're in that really difficult limbo phase right now. Good evening, Karen. We're in that difficult limbo phase of the end of last season's happened, but we're not quite able to look forward to the beginning of next season. Good evening, Mark. So really, Nat, we've probably never really spoken about this on here. Your thoughts on last season and how things ended?
In terms of everything, or just in terms of on the pitch?
Go for it.
Well, in terms of on the pitch, yeah, it wasn't the best, but it was bright. It looked good for the future. Now, sort of, it's ended. What we've learned, what we've heard. What can you say? I'm excited for the devs. That's what I am excited for. I think they're signing some good players. I think Healy's like the top quality. Everything through Hermie, I would do. But in terms of now, I have no feeling. I just think let's just see what happens.
Absolutely. Good evening to Natasha. I hope you're feeling better. I know you've not been too well recently. We are in a good evening, Ref. Nice of you to join us. We are in that limbo phase. We don't know what next season holds. We don't know who's going to be even lining up for the team. We don't know who's going to be even picking the team. We are told, and as recently as about an hour ago, that things are sorted. Okay, so I know that's not enough. I know some people need to know it. Need to know who? Napie's here. Good to see you, Napie. Hope you're doing all right. Missed you. Hope to see you soon. We don't yet know, obviously, who's going to be doing anything next season. We've talked about the fact that as fans, we want to get back into supporting the team. Do you think that's holding us back right now? Not knowing?
Yeah, potentially, because you don't know who you're getting behind. I mean, from June onwards, there was talks in the BBC and the Athletic and the whatever articles you want to read, Telegraph. There were names thrown about, and it was the same names. And so we pretty much know the players that are coming in. Obviously, we don't know all of them because a new manager or new players. But, we know what recruitment's been done, per se. If you, like I said, go and search all those articles, you'd read names that are across all papers. I mean, for me, the way I look at it, right, Chelsea and City are in a league of their own. Bam. Okay. What we need is to get the third spot. For me, I think we could have achieved it. We didn't. Whether that was through other things or whatever, we just didn't. We finished a point behind. It's no shame because, we've been here 3 years and, I think a lot of times I've said it's not. If it had been the other way around, so if we had started poorly and fought all the way up, then people would have been like buzzing, yeah, we're there and all this. I think it's because we started on fire, 10 games unbeaten, and then slipped off. And it's not the games against City, Chelsea, Arsenal that we lost. Okay. I mean, the Chelsea one was probably the one where we were most competitive in the second Chelsea one. It's just unfortunate, because I think we could have got a point off that and we could have still been on a run. We could have been on the 11-game unbeaten run and, but it's football. You've got to move. You've got to, someone makes a mistake, doesn't matter. You've got to move with it. And, it's the games, Reading, Brighton probably most. Because Reading, we all know that they're a strong team. They took City all the way. They got draws against Arsenal and City at their home. So, okay, I can live with it. It's just Brighton are our bogey team, I think, away from home. I mean, the first season, we absolutely, for me, battered them. It wasn't battered, but LJ came on. We won comfortably in the end. And I think, to be honest, they didn't look like scoring. I know they had that penalty, but it didn't really look like scoring. And then the times when we played them in the WSL, the one just gone, COVID one, that was again just, I mean, were you there, Deb? I can't remember. Anyone that was there that night?
I've not done Brighton away in the Super League. I was there for the cup game.
Yeah.
But both Brighton aways have been midweek times I just couldn't go.
So yeah, the Brighton away, I think the first one in the Super League just before COVID was, well, it wasn't great. I think they all admit it wasn't great. I remember traveling back on the train actually, because we got the trains down, and yeah, no one was happy, and we got a point. And you look at teams like Spurs. I'm not saying that we should compete with them, but they came up with us. They've had a team longer than us. They've got more established, suppose, in terms of a women's team. Even West Ham, but apparently it's not great there either. But they're more established in running a women's team. Like all clubs are more established really than us. Even Leicester are more established because they've had it before, and they're the same. The Morgans are there. The Morgans have been doing it 10 odd years, so they know what they're doing. Even though now the club are sort of bringing them in house, they still know what they're doing, and I think that's our downfall potentially that we're seeing currently. We don't know what we're doing, and we're having to learn. And you're seeing all these stories come out, and whatever anyone thinks of the stories, whether anyone thinks of the Athletic, it's not good reading. It don't make you feel, like you said. But I think once we're back, like you said, then we'll feel a bit better. Because I think once you see everyone, once we're together, once it's the match day, it'll bring a bit of a buzz once you see the players. But currently at the moment, that's why I say I feel nothing, because I'm just waiting to feel something.
Well, here's one to get you thinking. Here's one to get you all in the mood ahead of the new season, because Napi has said he'll see us all on Saturday. Because Saturday, I'm using that as a bit of a link. Saturday is the Supporters Club Agm. Every member should have received an email about it and a link to sign up to it. I think Mark is sending out a reminder email to anybody who hasn't had a chance yet, but also just to show you the agenda. So that's going to be happening. And again, lots of love for Napi. Be great to see you. Mark says about the Brighton game. Now, this is something I thought you were going to touch on that. That Brighton game, the game was disappointing. I don't think the drinking session in the hotel bar afterwards was for some of you, but the game wasn't the biggest disappointment that night.
Yeah, it's because they didn't come over and they didn't acknowledge that we'd. I think that's what Mark's on about, and tell me if I'm wrong, Mark. But they didn't acknowledge that we'd been, school night, all travelled down, had to book a day or 2 days off work, to sort of do it. I think there was a bit of we're sorry, and I've heard since them saying, when they travelled to Brighton. So I think they do know that probably some of them messed up that day and they should have come over no matter win, lose or draw. But that Brighton, pretend if we had been there on the one just gone, the 1-0 defeat, that penalty. God,
come on, we'd have been cheering the geese.
What would you have done? You just would have just.
No. I'd have been cheering the geese on. I'd have had a cracking time. I'd have been.
You autographed geese one too. Yeah.
Go on the goose one. Go on the goose two.
Yeah.
I've been having the time of my life. Come on. Good evening, Namrata. Namrata also says, I thought Wednesday podcast would pause for the summer. This is a nice surprise. We've had the British summer. We had a couple of nice days back in June. This is no longer summer. But also, when we first paused them, I did say we'll be off for about 3 weeks. Then we'll come back when there's an announcement about manager and players. It's been more than 3 weeks. Just going to leave that one there. But it's very nice to be back. I'm not sure we're going to be weekly at this stage. I don't think Mark's going to jump back in necessarily next week, but we're going to keep in contact. And we've also got plans for future podcasts. So we might just change the format ever so slightly. But as ever, we are around. We are doing something. Napi wants to know, who gives up? We're United. Absolutely right. John Ball, nice surprise. Needing the girls to provide me some positivity. Absolutely, we need to get there. We need something to hold on to. Mark taps into what you were saying, Nat, about that game. No acknowledgement from that. Oh, and Mark's also said he might drop in next week. Maybe Mark will have something to announce next week. I don't know. We can't ignore the club concerns. We can't ignore the fact that in the last week there's been 2 articles in The Athletic, elements of it that we believe are historic and may well have been remedied. Elements that also seem to contradict themselves within 48 hours. But as a fan, we are left feeling disconnected. Would that be fair to say? And really quite negative. You've talked about having no feeling, being quite numb about the team. But we're ready to get back into love with them, aren't we? We're ready to get back into watching them, being at the games. I know for some people there's anxiety about going back to games, and we are aware of that. But I'm at that point now, Nat, of just get me in. I don't care who's playing. I'd love it to be a great 11 we've got, but I don't even care who the manager is. And also, very quickly, congratulations, Casey has today now been confirmed as the manager of San Diego. So I think we knew it. It's now been confirmed. And obviously, we wish her all the very best. And we'll all be keeping an eye on their fortunes. Mark says, in terms of going to games, just let me in. But Karen makes the point here, the media, etc. The club are never proactive, always reactive. I know this is a conversation I've had with somebody else this last week. It's disappointing. And good evening to John Neville. Nat, you've got thoughts on what the club need to do to engage better with the fans. Start us off.
Like what Karen's just said, they've put a statement in and it said, we've got this player, because that's what a lot of concerns were. What's going on? Where are we going to be? Have we got the facilities? What's happening with the facilities? And then the Athletics sort of said, well, they've not signed the thing early enough or whatever, so it's going to be November-ish now when they get round to it. But the clubs have said something, and I thought it was really positive. And I saw Arsenal do it really well. Arsenal, when they announced their manager, they also did a separate article that said they employed new coaches, new doctors, new physios. And instead of Man United, like what Karen says, going ahead and just releasing that statement first, they waited until this article's come out, and then you've had to release a statement. And it just, like you said, disappointing. It's not what you want to say. You want them to want you. You want them to be interested. Like, they could do a video of, we can't wait to see you back, for example, and do little pictures and do little things and do, because we know they've got video of like when players are signing things and when players are celebrating, and because we've seen it. We've seen them do a little thing like just before COVID, they were doing like buy a ticket for the derby, buy a ticket for the thing, and it'd be great to see something like, we can't wait to see you back, we've missed you so much, buy a season ticket, like with a bit of flashes of fans and flashes of players taking photos and flashes of really good goals and flashes of celebrations, hugging and loud noise and cheering, and that would be something. Q&As, get the players to come out. I'm not saying, I don't know how the players are feeling, all of them, but get them ones that are positive. We've seen Honor retweet a thing and, get a video of Honor and just saying, can't wait to see your fans, bang, pop off. We know who the popular players are. Just get them to do it. Just, it's just simple things. But instead, all you get is Throwback Thursday, Wallpaper Wednesday. And then they think that's enough. And then probably they don't think that's enough, but whereas you see with the men's side of goal of the day, telling me there's not enough goals. We had 100 goals in the championship. Go throw one of them out. Goal of the day. Boom. Yeah, people are going to boot off and say this is not the manager, but it's something. It's something to remember when, bang, this goal of Kirsty Hansen versus Sheffield, one of the very first goals. Come and see Kirsty play next year. Bang. So there's your promoting the season ticket, and you're giving some content, and you're making people, like you said, fall in love with the team again. Here's a goal of Leah. Here's Leah when she made her comeback versus Everton. Bang. Show the 2 goals. Everyone's happy. Whoa, Leah Galton in the background. I can't do it. It's probably hard, but I've seen it being done for the men's side, so it can be done, you know. I mean, when they do the announcement videos, they're great. No one denies it. They're great, and there's so much time. It's some of the best videos. But they just need to do that bit more. Like people are saying, keep engaged, equal game. You know, obviously you're not going to see it all the same. You're not going to see, because there's so much more history with the men.
Yeah.
But there is history there. There's the championship season. There's this, there's that. You know, I thought, really, I'm surprised. The best thing they've done, in my opinion, was that after the championship year, they did that documentary. It would have been good to see something like that. I mean, probably they don't want to show it now, but something like that would be good again.
Yeah. We'll come back to that. A couple of comments. John Ball says they need a general manager. United, the women's team does have a general manager. It's a guy called Steve. I know he's been quoted, or there's been comments about him, but there is somebody in that position. Whether he's stretched, that's another question as well. We will be back and fine. Everyone is buying into the press negativity, apparently. And a very good evening, Sang. Good to see you back. Sang wants to know, or he wants to say, they're here to cheer you up, Nat. We're getting a player and 40,000 quid for Lauren James from Chelsea. Okay, this started at 200,000. Then it was 50,000. Don't you go bringing it down any further. Okay, we'll keep it at 50,000. Thank you very much. Namrata, the press keep putting out the negative stories. People will become indifferent. Maybe the club's counting on that. Okay, interesting point. Napi, I felt let down. Be like starting from the beginning. And I think part of that really comes from the fact that by the time we all go back to a women's game, it will be the best part of 18 months since that last game. And Nat, I still remember Feb 23rd last year, coming away from Wally Hall Park after the Everton game. None of us obviously knew then what was going to happen. None of us knew that would be the last time we'd watch Man United women play live. But that has played a massive part of it. You've got that, Casey's resignation, all of the news that's now coming out. And actually, Napi's point about starting from the beginning, kind of get that. But also, and I'll say this on record, and you can come back on me, every single one of you, that first game back, I'm like a kid at Christmas already. I know it'll happen. I cannot wait to get back. So whatever I might feel negatively now, get me back. Let's go back to Sam's point. 50,000 and a player for Lauren James. Now, you're a big fan of Lauren. What do you make of this?
Yeah, it's decent, isn't it? I've read it's 50 rising to 100. Yeah, just put it back in and buy more players, you know. I'm hearing that Barca will accept an offer of 100,000 for Charlotte. I don't know who's going to come. You know, the player. You just have to smile now and just, you know. That get me coming from Deb. Like, I'm excited to see Honor. I'm excited to see Ivana. 2 players I've not seen. 2 players I think that we've missed out on last year. I mean, Honor was player of the year.
Yeah.
Like won it by miles. Jackie's best form. Missed her. God, this girl, I don't know if you can see it on my thing. She's gone now, but, you know, who else? You know, who else am I excited to see? Stanny, just to see her. But that's what I think I'm happy for, to see, like Ivana. Just, I'm not expecting anything from her. I'm not expecting her to score loads of goals. I'm just, her energy is what I think. She's a happy person. I think she's energetic. I think she's, you know, full of life, energy. And you know, people say to me, Natalie, you're giving me energy. But she's that. She's like, I feed off her energy, if anything. So I'm excited for that. Leah Hansen, obviously my main number 1 G. I'm happy for her though, the alleged club that she's going to. But you know, that's another thing. Yes, I ain't seen her in 18 months, and then bang, the first time. Well, I'm gonna probably hug her again. It's gonna be in another shirt. It's gonna be weird if I do see her.
When restrictions have been lifted on physical contact. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But no, it's good. I'm excited for the Devs. Like I said, I think that's a team that I did get to see little bits of, and And I think they're doing things really well there, really well. Like, I'd say that's the strongest part, because that's a stable part. And what Healy's doing there, building is just, second to none in my opinion. I think she's the best coach in that WSL Academy League.
Yeah,
she's shown it, unbeaten. The Devs, even though they didn't fill a season, but I know that they'll be excited to get started again and complete a season, because I know everyone was talking about and these games that we missed, but they've missed the cup. They could have had a cup final at St. George's, And I was waiting for that. They just had one semi. They had 2 games, and they would have won a cup. And I'm sure they're excited to get back at it to continue their development, and then, push on. Maybe win a cup for the Devs team, and then you're looking at bringing players through. Tara had a debut. Carrie Jones had a debut. These are the names, and then there's more names coming through, and that's what it's about. It's about Man United. The pathway's there, clear for me. She pushed a load of 16s up, and now 16s are going to go to, now the 21s are going up, and that's the Man United way, isn't it?
I was going to say, that's the Man United way. And I think no matter what level, what stage of the game we're at, men, women, the Manchester United way is to bring the youth through. And I'm sure we all have this hope that within a few years, we are going to be seeing somebody come through directly from the development squad. We've had players on the fringes. Rebecca May's been around there. Like you say, Tara Bourne, Carrie Jones. We want to be seeing these players, because that's the United way. That's what we love to see for the men's team. And there's an incredible record with the men's team, always having somebody from the academy in the squad, in the matchday squad. So we want this with the women's, no different. Sang comes back to say 50,000 and a player is a good deal. Okay, time will tell. Napi, will anybody want to come when we get back to games? Yeah. For me, I can only say yes. I think it might be a slow start. Maybe people take the time. Fiona talks about LJ. You don't want to play at your club who doesn't really want to be there. Absolutely. Don't care whether that's men or women. You don't want to stay. Off you pop. Just make sure we get a good deal for them. Sang says 100% a player must want to wear the colours to be useful to the club. Napi, his mate's gone too. Amy Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll come back to that one. Karen, she'd take Beth England, G or Guru Wrighton, please. Sang says it might be one of those. Namrata says her bet's on Blundell. Sang, Pack Stadium's coming soon. Yes, please. I don't know about you, Nat. Mark and I have made a promise to each other that we are going to get to watch as many games as we can live over the next season. Hence why we're going to the men's pre-season, because we're just so desperate. And also bought a ridiculous amount of tickets for the women's Euros. We'll come on to that actually in a minute. Napi mentioned there, Amy Turner. Not the biggest surprise once we heard that Angarad had moved to North Carolina, but still a blow for us in terms of one of our more experienced members of the squad, vice captain in our first ever league game. A real loss, I'd say, in terms of not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well.
Yeah, it's devastating, isn't it? And I think what's most devastating is, obviously, Mrs. Angarad went to North Carolina, and then obviously what happened with Casey, it was sort of writings on the wall in a way. And it's like what we said in a leaving thing, just gutted, I couldn't say it in person. Sorry for F, but that's what hurts. That's what hurts the most. Amy, my best story of Amy is when I was at Leicester game, watching Leicester versus Reading. I went down to see Charlie, and Amy was there because obviously she was watching Angarad play for Reading, and I went in. I was in this shop or whatever, getting a pasty, and she just came over like, "Hi guys," We sat and we talked for ages, and we were talking about where's she going to play and all this. And I remember she was like, "Oh, I'm just happy playing." She was playing at right back at the time, and I said, "Listen, you'll be the centre back. You'll be turning back together." I know our Dave was really big on it. it'll be Turner, don't worry, you're a really good centre-back. And she was like, no, I'm just happy playing, I'm just grateful and all this. And I was like, whatever, it is what it is. But I remember I hit my hand on a wall and it had a nail in it. And so I only noticed like 20 minutes after, and I saw my hand and there's blood all over my trousers. What the? And I walked past her and I went, oh, I've hit a nail. And Dave was like, you're an idiot. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're okay. And like all this, like concerned. And that's the thing about Amy. That's what I think I'm going to miss the most. She's actually appreciates fans. Not saying that everyone doesn't, but you feel it. Even in the lockdown, I remember she said something on this when she did that cycling challenge, and she said, our fans, it means the world to them. Manchester United is their life, so I know how much pain they're going through and all this, the fact that they can't watch football. And it's just like, she just got it. She just knew. She was so considerate of you. She just wanted you to have the best time. I remember Durham, she came over and said sorry for losing. I remember Arsenal, she said sorry for losing. She said, so never say sorry, never, ever, ever. And she, just as a human being, she is one of the most nicest, God, I'm going to cry, nicest human beings that I've ever met. And, it really hurt when Siobhan left. But Siobhan, I can still see her. We saw her and little baby in Everton game. Not seen her since. Now she's running apparently, little one. That's how long ago that is. But it hurts, man. It's because it's emotional connection. And I know people can be like, LJ this, LJ that, but LJ hurts because LJ is my sister, mate. That's why it's like, oh God, I'm crying. I am actually crying. Deb. Can't speak. Oh, sorry.
I'll give you a minute. With regards to Amy T, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but in terms of as a person, I've had a couple of interactions with her myself, and she'll always be the owner of one of the greatest comments to you about the fact that you're famous. But that Reading game, I didn't know the squad all that well. That very first game at LSV, and my niece walked out with her. And my niece says that I don't think Natasha's still on this, but she said that she was interested in her. Hi, what's your name? Who are you here with? Just those kinds of questions that really calmed her down. And just the personable side of her. She says that there were kids in front and behind, and the players they were with didn't ask. And they were just literally holding their hands and walked out with them. So very, very quickly, Napi. Corey's on. I can't compete with that. Great to see you, Napi. We'll catch you Saturday. But yeah, Amy Turner, real loss, real blow. I think a lot of us had a soft spot for her. And again, another one, she goes with our very, very best wishes. Amy Sang says it's a blow, but she served the club well, surely. Absolutely. Napi did also say that his new mate is now Hayley Ladd. Okay. A couple of other comments. The club will announce everything after the kit launch, I guess. Well, kit launch is tomorrow. Home kit, anyway, is tomorrow. I think we're expecting Sancho's publicity to be announced tomorrow. So whether they give Sancho the whole day and then maybe move on to something else on Friday, without saying too much, there are things that are imminent. Sang, yes, 31 people has dropped a little bit now. 10 likes. Get the thing, click the thumbs up, please. Sean makes a good point. We've got a great squad. Still got a great squad. Just need some quality additions. Sang comes back into, I think it's been Namarata's point about Hannah Blundell. She is a class player. Would be a good deal if it was her. Dennis, good evening. Nice of us to talk about women's football. Thank you. What about Casey signing for San Diego? I think it's one we'd heard the rumours before she resigned. Good luck to her. That's all I can say. Good luck to her. I think she was always going to move on to something else, and if she didn't feel supported, then she was entitled to. But also, come on, I know it's decent at the moment, but I'd fancy San Diego, thank you very much. It'd be a bit warmer than it is here. Namarata's saying she feels emotional. She's never met Amy. Absolutely. Sang, what's happening on Saturday is the Supporters Club Agm. Okay. If anybody isn't already a member and is interested in becoming a member, Mark, do me a favor, please. Can somebody pop the email address or the website in the messages, and I'll put it up on the screen so that everyone can see it. Members will have already received an email asking them to join or to register their interest. If anybody's not a member and wants to join, there is a free membership. We'll give you the details on how to do that. Max, good evening. Right, Sang, we have Honor and Hannah. Honor and Hannah, okay. There's a few similar letters there. Down the left and right, pacey defenders on both sides, killer. Okay, so according to Sang's done the deal. Sang's done the deal that we're getting Hannah Blundell.
Yeah.
Get I will say, Deb, ready.
What I will say, Deb, is it's a good deal. I think she's good. Hannah and Honor, yeah, I'm up for it. I think we do need strikers, though. That's the one area that, that's the one place since the start, Deb, really. Even watching in 18, the OG21, you still thought, we need a killer striker there. We didn't know that Ebony would turn into it, but we needed a killer striker. We make a lot of chances. I think we make a lot of chances. Throughout the season, both seasons, but we just need that 1-9. 9 is available now. Breaks my heart that is, but it's available.
Yeah.
We need, we need a Cavani. We need a Cavani for the women.
We'll come back to that because we're forgetting somebody in all of this. Mark's popped the email address for anybody who's interested in becoming a member. MUWSC members, or all as one word, at mail.co.uk. Thank you, Sang. Hopes we have a productive AGM. So do we. Sang also says we do need a striker. Dennis, absolutely. Same thoughts for Casey. Happy for her. They got a top coach. Our loss. Yeah, definitely. Fiona's come back in. Oh, hang on. I've had a jump there. Oh, where's that gone? That's there. We all said that we wanted the fullback of similar quality to Honor. Is Hannah that? Sang, as somebody who's probably seen more of Hannah Blundell than we have, please tell us. Okay, Max is giving us the song. I can't sing it. I'm going to get confused. Too many N's and there's too many A's.
This Honor song, I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to veto everyone. Honor Bache, tra-la-la-la. Honor Bache, tra-la-la-la. Honor Bache. Just and repeat. Just go on forever and ever and ever and ever.
You're not going to give this Honor and Hannah playing at the back, at full back? No. Okay. Max.
Sorry, Max.
I want voice note of it, okay?
But on a bache, tra-la-la-la, boom.
Actually, Max did come up with a great song about when we thought Abby Mack was going to leave, but Amy was going to stay. So, Max, if this is your next song, I need a voice note of it. So, sort that out, please. I thought Namarata, I think Press was supposed to be our Cavani. Yeah, maybe we did as well. Now, Sean makes the point. This is what I was going to say. I think we've forgotten somebody in this.
No, and listen, I don't want to put no pressure on her. I just want her to be fit and let her do her thing. I don't want it to be when Russo. Because that's what we ended up saying all season, didn't we? Right, Russo's going to come back in January. Russo didn't come back. Oh, it's going to be February. Russo didn't come back. I just want someone and Russo.
We need cover. Regardless of what happens, we need cover. So we're not saying that it's not Russo as our lead striker, but if she's shown she can break down this year. Obviously, we hope that doesn't happen regularly, but we do need to look at cover. Last year we had almost too many strikers, and then we ended up with nobody. So yeah, we do need cover. Hannah Blundell is top quality. She's a fullback with no serious weakness. So might I ask why she's on the bench for Chelsea? Anyway, she's got a cross from the flank that many wingers would be jealous of. She's 27 in the prime of her life. Well, I don't know who Hannah Blundell's agent is, but I think Sang might get that job. Thank you very much. We need an old school number 9, a target lady with strength and pace. Yes, please. Do you know where one is? Have Chelsea got one they can offload to us? Thank you very much. John, good evening. Blundell's a good player, but if you're getting her in 50 grand, then Emma's had your pants down. Yeah, unfortunately, we suspect so. Why isn't Hannah Blundell playing? Because they've got Jess Carter and Neve Charles. Well, we'll have one of them then. And then Fiona, going back to the point Nat we made about Alessia Russo, we need 2 quality players per position. last year there were times when we thought we had great depth, and a few injuries showed that we didn't. What with the striker, is that the priority this year? Yeah. So if we don't bring in 2 strikers, because one is main striker, one is cover, is that disappointing in the window for you?
Yeah. I've just got to say what I've got to say. Yeah. I mean, like I said, go and read your BBC articles, go and read your Telegraph articles. It's clear who's been linked, who's been talked up as a striker. Fair play, but for me, I need another one. I don't think I'm saying anything too controversial there. I think I'm just saying my opinion, and I'm sure probably, I don't know if other people agree. They might not. They might think it's fine. They might think Russo on one is fine. But I just don't want it to be all about, listen, I think she can handle it. And I think if she stays fit, she will be that 20, I think she'll be scoring medium-out level goals, Alessia. But, we just saw last season that's what worries me. Not that I'm saying, she's always going to break down. That was probably it. That's probably that one season because of everything, and that's it. And she will stay fit. But I don't know. Maybe it will be different. Maybe it's because the people who were on the bench last time didn't step up. Now, obviously, there's maybe someone else who's going to come in, and it'll be, yeah.
A couple of comments, Nat, just in case you thought that we were going to talk solely about football this evening. Dennis says he wants more women talking football. And Nat Singing thinks more women should be talking, would get more people watching. Likes, thank you very much. And Sang says, you look much better with your lighting like this. The blue lights didn't do your eyes any favours. So thank you for that. Let's get back to football. Fiona did say, I've lost that message. Yeah, we struggled to score enough goals in the WSL. Absolutely. You look at our numbers last year, not great. So clearly going forward. Sean wants to know, have you put in for the manager's position, Nat?
Imagine.
Yeah. Namrata makes a point. Unless Leslie is one of the players who went to the PFA and feels unsettled at the club, she'll shine next season. Absolutely. Cannot wait to see that. Fiona says, if we're going to be leaky at the back, we need to score more. Yeah, absolutely. That whole Newcastle thing, you score 4, we'll score 5. No, thank you. Doesn't do your heart much good. Martha Thomas is legit, but we need another striker who is different, a goal poacher. Martha Thomas is one of the names that's being very strongly linked. There's a lot of names that have been very strongly linked. As cover, Martha Thomas, not as first choice.
Yeah. But pretend if Leslie was out for half a season, and that's what we're talking about. And I don't even know. I think it's just, this is where we're at now, and suck it up, and that's it. This is where we're at. We're not at Champions League, going to win the league, going to do this. Potentially, yeah, we could be Champions League next year. To be honest, I even think if we finish 4th again next year, that's a good year.
Who's finishing 4th?
Really ahead. But I think if we finish 4th again, for me, that'll be good, because I think there's been a lot of unsettlement. Players have left, players who have come in, this and that. So I think 4th again with the new manager, let him or her settle down, maybe get a few of their players in as well. Who knows? But 4th again would be a good year for me. Maybe people will say, no, that's not good enough. Maybe they will. But I think 4th again, and then the year after, go Champions League.
Okay. These conversations will probably be had from now until the beginning of the season in terms of what's realistic for us and what's hopeful for us based on whatever news comes out of the club. Sang says, one thing for next season, no more injuries. Namrata's naming somebody. Mark Skinner, the new gaffer, she thinks, will sort everything out.
Let me just say to Namrata, it's not Mark Skinner. We know it's that Italian guy who's messaging on all the posts. It's him. He's the new gaffer.
I'm not saying a word. Beth England might be getting itchy feet at Chelsea. We're standing in a heartbeat. I think we've all said that. Absolutely. Sean says that, excuse me. Everton are recruiting strongly also. They did last season, and they started off like a train. And then they actually started playing decent teams. Just saying. But yeah, absolutely. At some point.
Let me just say, Anna Evergaard, out of all the Everton strikers, she's the one. I know everyone's hyping on Tony Duggan. Tony Duggan is good. I think we wanted her in 2018. But yeah, people are saying Evergaard is the one. John, let's see. But
You tipped her. You tipped Evergaard.
Yeah,
we may very well have already had a flag ready for her. Flag suite ready. Yeah. Just saying.
There you go.
Yeah, Dennis is also saying thinks we'll finish behind Everton. Namrata, Italian gaffer for the win. 21st of July, guys, according to Namrata. Remember the date. Okay, that's a week from today. So I shall be waiting for that one. Okay, I'm reading this as it's on. I'd be concerned that we knew where we stood at the end of the season, but handling of player signings and the new manager caused us to lower expectations and accept fourth. Actually, that's a really, really good point. No, Fiona. She'd love a proven WSL striker. Yeah, but I'd also like someone in their prime. Just going to say, Ellen White, not happening. As an example. Couple of names.
I would take Ellen. I think she's all right. I think she can score. Tony, what did she do last year at thing? What did she do towards the end of the bar?
There you go. No disrespect. She's not good. No. That ship sailed. Mark, delete the flag tweet.
Post it and delete it.
Couple of names, Luis Cortez or Gerard Prisher, I don't know how to pronounce, are available. I could tell you something about one of them, but I'm not going to. According to Namrata, we're going to finish fourth. Do you know something? Maybe fourth is a greater achievement than we might actually give it credit for. But,
no, I think it will be, Deb. I think it will be with what's happened. You know, let's not be like Casey is a massive loss. Casey is the heartbeat of that. And, you know, it's like what I forgot his name now. It's like what Napier said. Look at me, I'm forgetting everything. It's like what Napier said. It's like starting again. So, yeah. Don't put any pressure on the new gaffer unless it is one of them two, you know, world-class gaffers. But I can't say your name. I'm really sorry. Rayan?
Who are you saying here? This one? Do you want this comment?
Yeah, it could be worse. We could be worse off. Everyone thinks that we are finished. People I've seen tweets saying Leicester will finish above us. But if Leicester are going to sign the players that were on our bench, how are they going to finish above us? That doesn't make sense. Because, like I said, go and read your articles. You can tell who. I'm not going to start naming names. But like I just said, you can tell who and they're signing someone off Everton's bench. So it's not. Leicester just need to worry about probably surviving, being in and around. 5th and 6th will be good for them. Yeah, 4th will be great for Leicester. But, Leicester are where we were in a way. Just come into it. Just trying to, break into the thing. But I think 4th 2 years in a row, we're pretty much settled in there. And the gap between 4th and 5th was really big. I'm not saying it can't get shrunk, but it was about 15 points on it, I think. And we basically batted Everton both times. That's what I can remember. So, who knows? But I think, I think it's like I said, there's 2 levels, isn't there? There's City and Chelsea, and then there's us and Arsenal. And it's just a case of who we bring in, our manager, their manager, who settles in quicker, and that they'll get the 3rd spot, really, I think. But I think Arsenal may be a bit ahead of us at the minute, but I'm not saying we can't catch them back up. But, it's just that's why I'm at that point where I'm just like, let me wait and just see.
Yeah, absolutely. And Namrata makes a really good point about why she thinks Everton might not be competing for 4th. Because if they've got great players, no doubt about it, but how are they going to play the matches if they keep getting rescheduled? And actually, you've got to consider the fact that matches could get called off due to unexpected sunshine. So, absolutely, Namrata. Fiona makes the point. I think we've been burned by strikers that don't have WSL experience. Jess, Press. No, I can't think of anybody else that rhymes. Good point, though. Let's see. Sang, every WSL season is a fresh start for everyone. No reason to be pessimistic. We won't be football fans if we didn't look on the negative side. Come on. Arsenal are also having a major restructure. I think Arsenal have got more of a nucleus that have been there and done it. I think that's what we feel often separates us. And we're only going to get that by playing and having this team stick together, or at least have a team for a few years. So, yeah. People wish they could be as optimistic as you
I'm
now.
getting called pessimistic in one tweet and optimistic in another. So what is it?
And isn't that interesting, actually? Yeah. Casey's a bigger loss than we all might think. I think we can recognise the loss that Casey is. But, Nat, you and I did a pod immediately after Casey resigned, and I said, that's it. It's gone. She's done. Let's move on. And that's no disrespect to Casey, but that's, as a football fan, we've seen people move on. We've seen people, sometimes players, managers who we absolutely adore and we hero worship, and we cannot think of our team existing without them, and yet they do. And so for me, yes, gutted when Casey left, but what's tomorrow? What's the next season bringing? And that kind of where my head goes. I don't think any of us are disrespecting that or ignoring the loss that Casey is, but there's a tomorrow, there's next season. So I'll come back to you now. Manager is the most important signing. Get the right person and then let's roll. Yeah, absolutely. Marty, hello. And even, look, even a 9-year-old saying that's why his father wants to be a footy fan, because he just wants to be negative. Absolutely. Here's a point though on Casey. She made average signings for us so that she can get the best ones with her at San Diego. Average signings from Casey. Nat, you wanted to come back in on something?
Yeah, just when you're talking about Casey and people saying, as if we're downplaying it, or I've not really said congratulations to her on here. Not really tweeted. I know people are saying they're going to be San Diego fans. I'm not really. If anything, I'm a Orlando / racing fan because of Amy and Ebony. Well, definitely watching Ebony. But I cried for 2 weeks over Casey. And now I've seen that she's gone to San Diego. I don't feel anything. I just feel like, okay, when's the next news cycle going to come around? Casey's a big loss. I was sitting there, just got emotional over Amy as well. I can't sit and cry forever over Casey. And I don't think, I'm not saying it, but, move on. Let's go. We've had our time and, all this again, it's sort of, I'm not saying and this is where probably the club could be doing a bit more, keeping people because when there's nothing, something has to fill the void, and what's filling the void is just not negativity, but upset from people and all this. And if they did something to make people feel a bit more happier, on a battle, just gonna get a tattoo says something, keep believing or something, or I'm this, and everyone's like, oh, when Ivana got married, everyone's like, oh, but they're feeding off things that are happening rather than just, like I said, all it is a more entertaining Throwback Thursday, or like I'm seeing Arsenal fans, like people said, they're going through a lot, but you're seeing, this is Beth back in training, and people are happy. You think the minute that people don't see Anna and Millie in the shirt again, the new training kit, everyone will be happy again. But whether they are back in training, who knows? But these are the things, and Arsenal are doing it well, informing. And I'm not trying to slag off the club, but there's ways to keep people engaged and not filling the void with sadness, fill it with happiness. Let us know. Let's go. Big the people up, G the people up, because that's what I think we're waiting on. And I feel sorry for them, the girls, in a way, because people are sort of like, oh, Anna, she's going to carry all our hopes next year. And, we're sort of like, we all feel so, I feel like everyone feels negative in a way. And they're just waiting on, like you said, to see the players and you feel happy again. But then that's a big pressure on them as well.
It's coming. The good news is coming. Casey, technically, psychologically, head and shoulders above a lot of her contemporaries. Absolutely. She seemed to understand the way that women footballers need to be communicated with. Obviously, she's one herself, but you learn sometimes from the bad experiences you've had. Namrata, she's not going to be watching San Diego. She ain't getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Mark says, we all know football's a merry-go-round. Players go, managers go. It's just the way football works. Absolutely. Marty picks up on the point about Casey being head and shoulders above her contemporaries. She brought more to the club than just football skills. Absolutely. Karen says, going on to what you're saying there about we just want to see players, the Dutch team keeping us up to date, at least with Jackie, so we get to see that. Dennis, really good point. It's too soon, nothing in place, but you've still bought a season ticket, so that's optimistic. Absolutely. And that's the thing. No matter what happens, I've got my season ticket and I cannot wait to get going with it. And I cannot wait to use it. And yeah, absolutely. For all that. And that's why I say kid in the sweet shop, kid at Christmas, get me in. Communication hasn't exactly been fluent from the club. Okay. Yeah. I don't think many people could deny that. Casey's presence allowed the girls to be comfortable in their own skin. Absolutely. Okay. Is Casey going to have a challenge understanding how the NWSL system? Maybe. Mark makes the point. Casey leaving, going to San Diego, in his opinion, was tapped up. Okay. And even we get an interesting comment, Mark. Jockey seems to think we're taking a couple of players out of Chelsea. We're getting one from the LJ deal. Maybe we're getting one on a different signing. I don't know. But Sang says, whoever you get, take good care of them. I could argue, Sang, that we'd play them a little bit more often if they were fringe players, but hey-ho. Okay, so we are in... loan, apparently. Namrat is not confident that San Diego aren't going to concede a lot from set pieces. I see the men brought in a set piece coach this week. I did wonder whether that's something the women's team needs to look at. We're getting the unwanted players. We're getting the unwanted players from Chelsea. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, Chelsea are a juggernaut. You look at how long it's taken Emma Hayes to get that team together and the money it's cost them. And that's just, we're not at that level yet. I think you're right. City and Chelsea, different levels. We're fighting to get there. Arsenal are fighting to get there. Everton, nah. You going to say something?
I said, I think we were playing City. And I think it was with Emma Sean, who's on the City Fan Podcast. So go check that out. And I said, this is I said it's crossroads. If we win or get a point, we can be going there. Champions League's guaranteed. This level of player we would be able to attract, second to none. If we lose, and then it might lead to a spiral if we don't get Champions League. And then it's going to be like, I think even if Casey had stayed, between the players that have been been talked about, brought in, it would have been probably similar to what Napier said at the start, sort of a starting again process. Because I think the players that were leaving would likely to leave anyway. And the players being brought in probably would, who else? Maybe Anna, maybe Paris. But in a way, it's all sort of, I do think Anna will be real deal, let's see. But she's going to need time to settle, this and that. But, it was those two partings. There's two ways we could have gone if we got Champions League and if we didn't. And I think if we get Champions League next year, because I do think it is close, but it's just, I suppose, like you say, that Arsenal got that nucleus where they've had it a bit longer. Maybe that gives them a little bit of an edge. But I don't think it's all, and I don't, like I said, some people have said I'm too positive. Some people have said I'm too negative. I'm just me, and I suppose I'm never going to change. And I just think, like I say, I'm just waiting to see. The feeling is nothing at the minute, but I'm sure it can go from 0 to 100.
Talking about things that, in terms of how people see you, one person needs you to enhance their away days now. Mark says he's missed football, but most of all, he's missed the away days, the bus trips, the whole thing. But most of all, Nat singing Whitney. It's not an away day bus journey if at some stage Nat isn't singing Whitney. And definitely looking forward to the away days. Sang, as much as they hate it, they want a good young or prime player to play, even if it's in other colours. How much game time is LJ going to get is the question. Sean asked the question about season tickets, and then Mark's replied, Has anyone received their digital one yet? We don't think anybody will have received that yet. We suspect men's will go out first because their season starts sooner, and they haven't yet gone out. So there you go. Dennis, thank you. Best show you've ever seen? Stick with us. Here we go. With the timing of San Diego links, talking from Feb, yeah, okay. And the pre-Arsenal attempted resignation. Did Casey just take her eye off the ball? This is a great question, and I'm glad somebody's raised it because apparently Casey was on the verge of resigning before the Arsenal game. Bearing in mind how poor that performance was as well, but what's come after it and how flat everybody looked. Did Casey take her eye off the ball?
Well, I think something I've discussed before, it's sort of like if you top, so if my manager's upset at something and she's the one I always go to and I'm always looking at, and it's my sort of inspiration, first say.
Yeah.
And you can tell something's going on. You can tell it's not going right. There's all this moving about, probably wasn't great either. But potentially they did know that she wasn't herself. Even if you listen to some of the interviews, you could hear, we were going from winning to losing, but
you look at her face. How many times did we say Casey does not look happy? Now, was that she was fed up, or was that because she'd left the building kind of thing? Maybe a bit of both. Who knows?
I mean, the Jill Scott or whatever her name, Jill Ellis said, I want Casey said to her, I want a club that matches my ambition. And that's, people can take that whatever way they want, but that's what apparently she said.
Yeah. We will probably never know. Mr. Positivity is speaking now, Nat. I'm very positive about the coming season and would encourage you guys to be the same. And that comes from one of the most negative people. This is a man who, if United, men or women, aren't 5-0 up in the first half hour, he will criticise. So stick with this, it's positive. Nat, very briefly, just to tie things up, there are communication channels now open with the club, and they've been sort of moulded over the last few months. And I guess what we're saying is that we need to know what's going on. And I know that you stepped aside from the Supporters Club, but you're still a very, very active member. And I think that what we're saying now is keep in touch with what we're doing and where we're going with things, because we are trying to get through to things. We are trying to get those communication channels working. And part of that is so that the club know where our concerns are. And as recently as this evening, they were presented to the club again. So please stick with that. Now, we could go around in circles about this, but the bottom line is, for me, when that season starts, September the 3rd or whatever the exact date is, we're expecting a good crowd. If we're at home, we're expecting an away trip that a few of us go on. And we'll just fall back into that pattern, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think more people will come aways. I think hopefully more people will come to the home. I think it's going to be new for everyone. But I think, like even we saw with the protests before, people were still, when they could go in the ground, they still came in, they still supported, they still made their voices known in that they were like upset and stuff about things, but they still came in and supported the team, because what you need to think is it's not the team's fault, any of it. It's not the players on the pitch. So don't punish them for what's going on, I suppose, behind the scenes.
Yeah. Sang, 3rd of September. Cannot wait. Mark knows if it's at LSV, he's going to be on the back row singing loud and proud. Absolutely. Sang says it's a Friday game.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That first fixture weekend is across, because of the TV rights. So we've got a Friday game. And I'm one of those, I don't think anything comes close to a nighttime game, particularly in away. An away game I go back to that first season, and we had those 2 games back to back, Sheffield United and then Leicester. And oh boy, absolutely fantastic atmosphere.
Well, I think it's going to be, because it was really good, the Arsenal game, that atmosphere. I can see them definitely putting us under the lights on a Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll happen more than once, I should think. Dennis, when it starts, we'll be there supporting the team. Absolutely. Namrata asked the question, when are WSL fixtures getting announced? Where are we up to? I suspect that's another week or two. It was indicated towards the end of July. There's a lot of other fixtures that have to feed in because of ground shares and things like that. Sang, absolutely agree with Nat. Let the players know how much you miss them. Whatever's going on at the club and whatever's gone on with COVID, it's not their fault. We've got to get behind them. We've got a lot of time to make up for when we go to games. Mark goes back to, we're playing away at Bristol. He wouldn't care one bit. No, absolutely. Maybe on a Friday evening, not the easiest. But let's get us back. Let's go. We're going to hopefully have some good news to pick up on in the next week or two. Suggestions made that's imminent as anything can be. Tomorrow's a kit launch. They're going to probably announce Jadon Sancho. I don't think anything's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if anything's going to be happening on Friday. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Nat, thank you for joining me. Karen summed it up. No matter what, we'll support the girls. And very quickly, Mark, you're wrong. Can't be Bristol. They went down. Thank you, Sam. Yeah. No matter what, we will support the girls. Can't wait. Glory, glory, Man United. And that goes on forever. Nat, thank you very much for joining me this evening. And thank you very much for everyone who's watched, who's left a comment. I obviously can't get through them all, but really, really appreciate it. Keep an eye on the Twitter feed. We'll be keeping you up to date as to when we'll be back. We might just go fortnightly at the moment. But great to be back. Great to join you all. And we'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.